YouTube, today we're trying out a brand new team, and this team placed 9th overall in the Japan Nationals Qualifier, also known as the February International Challenge. This team is pretty insane. We have an Icy Wind, Fake Tears, Persian, Alolan form. And we don't really see it too much, and why you would use Persian over like Grimmsnarl, you might think. But that's because of the fact that it's fast. Fast fake out's incredible with foul play as a threat as well. Icy Wind is a really good move for some support, especially if Persian does get some airstream boost from the Zapdos. And Fake Tears, what's really big about Persian is you can Fake Tears a Dark type Mon, which is really big because you can Fake Tears Max Lightning KO a Velta, for instance, which you couldn't do with a Prankster Mon like Grimmsnarl. However, we'll see how the rest of the team goes. If you do want to check out the creator of the team and the details, you can check them out in the description down below and grab the rental team while you can. But otherwise, let's get started and play some games. Okay, we have a very interesting team here. Solgaleo plus Calyrex Shadow Rider with Tapu Koko, Gastrodon, Gothitelle, and Gyarados. We have Shadow Tag from the Gothitelle. What's actually cool is Persian's actually pretty decent against my opponent's team. I feel like if I can position this right, I suppose. Zapdos is probably really good because of airstream pressure. I really do like the Zapdos here. Probably Zapdos Persian's actually my go-to lead here. It's really strong. Just like Persian Dark typing with foul play is really good against Solgaleo and the Calyrex Shadow Rider. You want to imagine it's probably Bulldoze on the Calyrex. I can definitely see it on the Gyarados as well. I do like this combination. And then I think in the back, I definitely have Zacian. And I guess the question is, do I want Kyogre? Because I might not need Kyogre. Thunder is nice for the Gyara. I just don't know. I guess this is a Solvest that can take on the Calyrex a bit better. I was thinking of going with the Ferrothorn for the Gastrodon, but I guess because I mean, I would like Leech Seed on the Ferrothorn if I were to bring it, so I'm not too sure. I don't think it's that great here. You know what? Let's just bring the Kyogre, I think. I think Kyogre was just stronger as a matchup plan because it helps me against Calyrex, which can still be pretty scary because you never want Calyrex to set up in the late game. Like, late game Calyrex can be really devastating. Tapu Koko is an interesting one here. I wonder what the Maxmon is, because in previous formats, we would see the Gyarados usually max here, but it's either Gyarados. I don't think it'd be this Gyarados because it could be a Bulldoze Gyarados as well, so I'm not too sure. Probably Solgaleo, I'd imagine. Yet I don't know if they max here in this game specifically. We'll find out, I suppose. It's going to be the Calyrex Solgaleo lead. Okay. That's good for me, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure I could Airstream Foul Play that slot. I'm like pretty sure I can go for Airstream Foul Play in that slot. Or I could go for the... It's because foul play is just threatening so much, because the Bulldoze, I'm immune to it with Zapdos, so I can always get an airstream up, and even if they slow down the Persian, I always get the foul play off in the Solgaleo, which is huge. So I think I do go for the foul play here. Now the question is, what do I do with the Zapdos? I think I always just go for an airstream into their Calyrex slot, or do I go for the Solgaleo? The problem is I'm worried if Solgaleo actually goes for a max guard here. And I don't know what the Calyrex could really I guess Calyrex could go for like Protect or Max Guard Bulldoze. I think they wouldn't Max Guard though. I think they would just regular Protect if that's the case. So I should still get the speed boost, I'd imagine. So you know what? Let's go for the Protect. Let's go for the foul play in the Airstream, because worst case, I think, which I think is probably pretty odd, is them Max Guarding the Solgaleo when I think they could just regular Protect and be fine. So let's see what we accomplish here. This could be a Bulldoze immediately, and if it's a Bulldoze, we just go for the Airstream into a foul play. And it's really nice having the Persian because it's actually fast, so we can outspeed the Solgaleo and get the foul play off before it gets a move off potentially. We do see a max from the Solgaleo, so I'd imagine this is either attack from the Calyrex, or I hope this is attack from the Calyrex at least. So let's see, because I'm hoping Airstream Foul Play just knocks out the... I'm just hoping for the knockout into the Solgaleo here. The next turns, I guess, could be a little bit scary, but I think I have an idea of if it's not Bulldoze here, if it's like Astral Barrage. It is Bulldoze, though. That's fantastic. Okay, that's absolutely amazing for my Persian here, because what's nice about Persian, again, is the speed. Even though we're -1 speed at this point, Zapdos is always faster than Solgaleo. We saw it on the speed confirmation. That's, you know, based on our base speeds regardless, but we Dynamax first too. We can go for that Airstream into the Solgaleo, get a little bit of chip damage, and that chip damage is pretty important for this foul play coming up, because this foul play is really going to hurt the Solgaleo. That's a +2 attack and weak to it. So let's see if it's able to pick up a knockout right here. I'd imagine so. Oh, it lives. Okay. Does live and go for a Steel Spike. That's okay for me though. Yeah, I don't think that's too bad. All right. So they get a special defense or a physical defense boost, which shouldn't matter. They're both pretty low. Now, I guess the question is the next upcoming turns can be a little bit scary. We're going to go into our Zacian here. And I think we just go for an Airstream into the... I think we double up the Calyrex, I'm pretty sure. Let's see. I do think we double up the Calyrex here. I think doubling up the Calyrex is always correct. I always get an Airstream boost off here. So I think I just double up the Calyrex. I guess worst case is Solgaleo attacks here, which it could. Maybe it's 4 attacks. That's definitely a potential option. However, I do think that there is a chance that this Calyrex could, like, there's a max guard from Solgaleo potentially, and then the Calyrex just goes on the offense, and I think that'd be worst case. Solgaleo can only knock out one of my Pokemon, and then I'll outspeed it afterward with the other. And once Calyrex is gone, I'll have that speed boost, which is really important here. So I think we should be okay. I think. The reason I didn't want to go Kyogre is because the Kyogre unfortunately is slow on this team, so I'm not able to go for like an Airstream Water Spout. I would otherwise, but yeah. We're going to see a Protect from Calyrex. No max guard from Solgaleo, I think, here. Yeah, that's unfortunate. Okay, so I guess the worst of both worlds here. I am able to get an Airstream into Calyrex, but I did go for the Behemoth Blade into that slot. I guess... Oh, this could come down to like the next turn, actually. So who did the Solgaleo target here? I'm hoping it's the Zacian slot, but it could have been... They did go for the Zacian slot, it looks like. They did go for the Steel Spike here. Should pick up a knockout, I imagine. Okay, I'll take that trade. I'll definitely take that trade here. Because I think I get in Kyogre, and then I think I click Water Spout to Airstream the next turn. And I think Airstream should knock out the Calyrex, and then I'll just get a speed boost here. And the speed boost is pretty nice. I guess the only concern is if Tapu Koko's in the back, is it physical or not? Because if it's special, it's a lot easier to deal with the Assault Vest. But if it has Wall Charge, I guess the damage is going to hurt. So I guess we'll figure it out together. So nice protect on my opponent's end. We're going to go for the Water Spout here into a Airstream here. Into the Calyrex. I don't know. I'm pretty sure Airstream should KO the Calyrex based on the damage to protect. Yeah, it definitely should, I think. If it doesn't, I'm worried about Bulldoze into like an attack from Solgaleo here. However, we'll find out. This could be a Gastrodon switch too, I suppose. They could switch out like Solgaleo into Gastrodon and preserve the Solgaleo, I guess, for a sack and get the special attack boost at the same time. We'll find out, I suppose, because it really just depends on what they have in the back, because that is going to determine this game. The Gastrodon is a little bit scary, but we do have Hurricane, which is pretty powerful on the Life Orb Zapdos. And then the last one is what I'm more concerned about. We're going to see the Calyrex actually retreat here into Gastrodon. That's actually perfect because I am faster than the Calyrex at this point with my Zapdos. So I do get a bunch of damage into the Gastrodon, and that probably puts in range of Hurricane or maybe Ice Beam range. I'd be skeptical on Ice Beam, but I am able to knock out the Soul, even though the Gastrodon does get a little bit of a boost here thanks to the Storm Drain. Should be okay. It's not Citrus Berry, so it should be probably leftovers on this set. Okay. We are able to knock out the Solgaleo here, which is fantastic. And then let's find out who they're going to bring out next. Is it Calyrex or is it going to be their last Pokemon revealed here? It is Leftovers on Gastrodon. Okay. So that's pretty standard. The mind games are going to stink, I think, the upcoming turns here. The Gastrodon has +1 special attack. My Zapdos' Dynamax is over. Calyrex is going to come out here. I kind of want to go for the KO on the Calyrex here because I'm pretty sure that Life Orb, Thunder, or Hurricane will pick up the knockout into the Calyrex in that HP range. Yet I could be off because Calyrex is pretty bulky. I guess a play I could do here is Protect and Ice Beam, or I could Oh, I don't have Ice Beam. I have a Hyper Beam. I guess I could Hyper Beam the Gastro. I guess it's not too bad, I suppose. You know, we'll Hyper Beam. And we'll go for, let's see, they both have pretty good, I think Thunder. Yeah, I think Thunder here into Calyrex. Might as well go for the Thunder. We're going to see the Calyrex protect, which is okay. Is the Gastrodon going to protect as well? Is it just double protect? Yeah, it's just double protect the Scout. Okay. So I don't think that's too bad for me. I go for the Thunder into the Calyrex. I go for the Hyper Beam into the Gastrodon, which is a really weird move here. But yeah, we do have a Hyper Beam. And the next turn, I kind of want to go for a Water Spout here into the Calyrex slot. I do kind of want to go for an Origin Pulse or a Water Spout here because I think that the Gastrodon doesn't want to take the Hurricane or the Hyper Beam here, I could definitely see them switching out into whatever their last spawn is. Or I could just go for, I guess Origin Pulse is fine here and protect. I don't think Zapdos lives a Astral Barrage. Well, it's not Life Orb actually. I guess this is not Life Orb on the Calyx. I should live one Astral Barrage. So you know what? I'll go for the Hurricane and the Gastrodon. They're going to swap out here, which is perfect. So I get an Hurricane and Origin Pulse. It's going to be the Gyarados. Okay. Which is a Pokemon I'm not really scared of. So I guess Calyx was the right target. This could actually be a bit terrifying late game, depending on do you knock out my Zapdos with Astral Barrage? I feel like you don't. It's going to be a barrier on Gyarados, so it is probably that Bulldoze support with the Solgaleo as a secondary Bulldoze user. We are going to see the Astral Barrage here. We also have to hit Origin Pulse, which is also pretty important here. Astral Barrage into Zapdos. I think we live. Yeah, we do live. Okay, hit the Origin Pulse specifically in the Calyx. You can miss this Gyarados, but yeah, we are able to hit a Origin Pulse, which is really important. Into the Calyx. Now, the question is, how many rain turns do I have remaining? I think I have 2 more, so I don't have to worry about accuracy at the moment. Or do I have 1 more because I might have miscounted on the turn they double protected? I think we're okay. Gastrodon comes out, no surprise. I don't know if they're going to protect or not. We do have like speed. We already saw that they're not Scarf. Yeah, we have 2 turns of rain, which is perfect. So Thunder into the Gyarados is always free here, and a Hurricane into the Gastrodon always picks up the knockout. I guess if they are able to get double protect with Gastrodon and then I start missing moves, then we have issues. But now we are in, I think, a demanding position where we can pick up knockouts right here. Gastrodon's going to protect and Gyarados didn't. Okay, this should be game, I think. Or not game. This can still come down to like the double protect into me missing a bunch. However, with the Thunder, now I can go for Hurricane and a Hyper Beam onto the Gastrodon very safely. So all I have to do, I think, is just hit the Hurricane here. So Thunder is able to knock out the Gyarados. So goodbye Gyarados and Hyper Beam. Let's see, because I think Hurricane does knock out the Gastrodon too in this position. I don't know if Hyper Beam from Kyogre does. It is like basically stronger than Ice Beam, like a lot, but I don't know exactly my calcs here. Let's just go for the attacks here and see, I suppose. Hurricane going to come out into Gastrodon. Should finish it off. Yeah, it does finish it off. Okay, and they didn't go for the double protect, which thankfully they didn't, because they could have potentially won this, I think, with some Hurricane misses, maybe get a yawn off in the Kyogre, get back some leftovers recovery. However, we were able to secure the game. So this game really just, I think, the turn 1 where I was able to get the big foul play damage off into the Solgaleo was absolutely huge. I wasn't sure if they were going to set up the Bulldoze strat immediately because of the threat of foul play from the Persian. And since the Zapdos is immune to Bulldoze and is always fast as Solgaleo, Airstream's always an option. So I can bring back my Persian up to speed and then threaten the KO onto the Solgaleo. Or not KO, but like a ton of damage in the Solgaleo in that case. And yeah, it would have done massive damage as we saw. And then turn 2, wasn't sure if they were going to trade the Solgaleo there or like they were just gonna protect the Solgaleo and maybe try to reposition if they had like a more supportive mon in the back. But yeah, overall, I think it just ended up working out where I was able to get a good amount of damage, I think, into the Solgaleo. Their turn 2 protect Calyx was really good, as well as the I guess sack Solgaleo. If not, I get a KO with Solgaleo, which was still really strong from my opponent's end. And then I just was kind of in the back foot for a bit, but however, getting that Airstream damage, I think, into the Gastrodon slot was absolutely huge, because I didn't have to worry about Gastrodon was just always in range of an attack afterward, and then I didn't have to worry about Storm Drain. However, they still had their Calyx, which was still a pretty big threat, especially to my Zapdos, because it was the only thing that really outsped the Zapdos. So there's always those trade-offs. However, I think it just ended up working in my favor. And I think that's just because I was able to get the big damage in the Solgaleo immediately and boosted my Zapdos' speed, as well as my Kyogre in the final turn of the Airstreams. If you currently enjoy the content you're watching and want to see more of it, make sure you check out my other YouTube channels, my second YouTube channel, my Eclipse channel, and of course, make sure you follow the action live on my Twitch channel. All links available in the description down below. All right, we have a Groudon, Venusaur, Charizard, Zacian team with Porygon 2 and the Dragapult. So let's see what options I have. It is Sun, which is a little bit tricky to deal with. We do have Rain and a Zapdos, which isn't bad here. We have Quick Attack Zacian. So are we adamant? I actually don't know. I haven't looked at the spreads of this team yet. We are adamant. Okay. So this probably... Okay. So this doesn't have to be Dragapult, I imagine. I guess it's a little bit tricky. We have a Zapdos, which is really good. We have Landorus, which is okay against the Zacian and maybe can help out against Charizard, but we only have Rock Tomb. We don't have Stone Edge. So I think I'd imagine we're not bringing our Ferrothorn here because it's only good against Porygon 2, really. And yeah, maybe the Groudon if it doesn't have a fire move as well, but I could definitely see this potentially being like a Assault Vest Groudon, for instance. Some of them have been running it. So I do think that Persian is the lead here with Zapdos. And I think it's probably my best comfortable lead here. And then I'd say Zacian and the Kyogre in the back. Yeah, I think that's just pretty good. Let's find out, because I don't know what they lead here. I could see them leading something like Porygon 2 Venusaur. I could see them leading like a Charizard Venusaur lead and then playing mind games with the Sun. So there's a lot of little bits of tricky stuff that my opponent can accomplish here by lead. So we're going to have to play accordingly. I don't have a game plan until I can figure out a lead specifically. It's going to be Porygon 2 and Charizard, which is an interesting one. Okay, so Charizard leads here as I lead the Zapdos and the Persian. So two options for my opponent that they can accomplish here. They get my Fur Coat, which does kind of matter. That's actually broken. Fur Coat Porygon 2 with a Violite. That's actually insane. What do I want to do here? Because there's two things that could happen here. So this could be Wildfire from Charizard and then a Groudon switch from the Porygon 2, or it could be the other way around where Groudon comes in for the Charizard expecting the Max Lightning and then Porygon 2 can Trick Room. So those are the two things I have to worry about here, and unfortunately I just don't have really a good counterplay to... I don't really have a good mid ground here. Gotta get this right. I think I'm gonna go for the Fake Tears and the Porygon, and I think I'm gonna go for the Airstream immediately. I can potentially get rid of Groudon at least if they stay in and switch out into Groudon, because if I can knock out the Groudon on a speed tie, I think that would have been huge, right? Because then I just get Kyogre in and then I start clicking Spout, and yeah, I don't really care if Charizard Dynamax then in that case. But it looks like they stay in with both, which is interesting here. So I'm kind of curious. I wonder if they were planning to sack one here just to accomplish the other, like Trick Room or Heat Wave damage here. But it looks like they are maxing the Charizard, which I think I should be okay unless Max Airstream does not KO the Porygon. If they go for Airstream themselves, that's okay. If they go for Wildfire, that's all right here as well. As I think the Zapdos is just really good against their team. Of course, the only way that I think my opponent knocked me out is through a Wildfire setup with the Sun. But yeah, no solar power on deck right here. They go for Max Guard. Oh, that's amazing for me. I'm kind of curious on the decision why to Max Guard specifically. Maybe they didn't just want to go hard into Groudon and then give me a free switch to Kyogre, I guess. I mean, I do get the Fake Tears into Airstream. Let's see if this KOs the Porygon. It does obliterate the Porygon. That is a phenomenal turn one. And yeah, that is absolutely huge. I'm able to get the Airstream up. So now my Zapdos doesn't have to play a speed type with the Charizard. I can now go for Fake Tears Max Lightning. And this Persian is actually really threatening here. And the Icy Wind pressure is actually really nice as well. So yeah, we have quite a bit. Groudon's going to come in. Okay, I thought it'd be Zacian coming out. Okay. I'm not really worried about Groudon. As I said before, I do have a Zacian in the back. And yeah, this is looking like a really solid position for me to just click Fake Tears into the Charizard and just dish out a Max Lightning. I always just KO a Charizard, I think, even through a Conberry, I'd imagine. So yeah, we'll just go for Fake Tears Max Lightning and the KOs the Zacian in the back as well. And then I want to get an Icy Wind off, I think, against my opponent's end, because if I get an Icy Wind off, that'd be huge, because I think Kyogre just outspeeds and clicks Water Spout and cleans up the game. So this seems like a really tricky spot for them. And yeah, the Persian is going to work here fantastically as well. Of course, we do have to hit Icy Wind here as well, but looks like it's not going to be like a double protect from Charizard, which is fantastic. So I'm able to get rid of their G-Max Mon, unless they're like a random Focus Sash. I'd imagine I always just OHKO the Charizard right here. I am able to pick up the knockout Charizard. Beautiful. And it looks like a Persian Zapdos lead of sweeping here. The Groudon can't knock out either one of my Pokemon here. Unless it's Banded Stone Edge. But even if it's Banded Stone Edge, I kind of just got what I needed with Zapdos, right? I got the speed boost with Persian, so it's now faster than the Zacian, and I'm able to go for an Icy Wind the next turn. They go for a Rock Slide, but it doesn't do that much to Persian, yeah. So yeah, this is a fantastic position, and should be Zacian as last Pokemon. And yeah, it's going to be the Zacian last Pokemon. I get to go for Icy Wind here, which is very solid here. And I go for the Icy Wind, and yeah, I think turn one Max Guard was an interesting play for sure. I don't know, because I don't know what their speed on the Charizard is. If it is max speed, it's just a speed tie between. So I think no matter what, you're kind of gambling. Maybe they thought I was going to Icy Wind Max Lightning. And I guess if they Max Guard, I mean, And it's just a speed tie anyway, unless you want to go for a Trick Room and a speed tie, which I'm not sure that's like the most solid thing in that position. But yeah, we'll just go for a max flare here into the Zacian Icy Wind, because I imagine it protects, but they're just gonna forfeit. And Persian kind of just destroyed them. Persian Zapdos lead. The fake Tears was huge. And yeah, the Icy Wind would have been pretty nice, because I think it just sealed up an endgame Kyogre specifically, as long as I hit the Icy Winds, of course. I could have faked out Airstreamed into the Porygon too, but I was pretty confident with the Life Orb Max Airstream off a Hurricane from Zapdos. It's going to be really strong against Porygon too, and I was like pretty sure it was going to be a 2-shot. So normally, fake Tears would have been great. Iron Ball Groudon. Power Brace. That's why they max guarded. Okay, the Power Bracer Charizard. Okay, that makes way more sense. Okay. They definitely expect me to attack. Okay, so now I understand why. Normally, Charizard's always usually just like timid or maybe modest max speed sometimes, but usually timid. And yeah, this one wasn't. It had those surprise factor, I suppose. But yeah, luckily I got rid of Porygon. I was really scared of Porygon because it was just like super bulky. I really didn't like the Trick Room option if Groudon came in, and I went for like a fake Tears plus Max Lightning into the Charizard, or like a Icy Wind Lightning on a Charizard switch into Trick Room. So I thought that was like worst case scenario. Of course, it could have been pretty bad as well if they like switched out the Porygon and KO'd my Zapdos if they were max speed Charizard. But then again, I guess I get in my Kyogre and I get to click Icy Wind Water Spout and threaten Chaos there. So I guess it's not too bad, but yeah, it wouldn't have been that great. However, I think it just ended up winning out the turn. All right, we got a standard Calyx Shadow Rider Zacian team with the Zapdos, Blastoise, Rillaboom, and Incineroar. So what do I want to bring against this team? I think it's probably Zapdos. Zapdos is just really good against their team. Ironically, Zapdos is just really strong here. I like the Persian a lot here offensively. I could see myself. I don't think I bring Ferrothorn in here. I don't think it's that good. And Landorus, I mean, it's good against Zacian, but it's like pretty bad against everything else. I'd imagine I just stick with the same 4. I don't know if there's like a specific lead I would imagine here, but I'd probably go Zapdos with the Persian lead, and then yeah, I don't know, I could lead, I guess, Persian Kyogre, but I don't really see what that accomplishes lead wise, other than like against a very dedicated Calyx lead. I don't really see what it does. So let's go for these 4. I guess what could be annoying is Rillaboom endgame with Grassy Glide against the Solvest Kyogre that can't protect, so I do kind of got to be cautious about that. Otherwise, I should be all right. I think Zapdos just does really well against their team, especially with fake tier support. They do have 2 Pokemon that are faster though, so let's find out. It's going to be Zapdos Calyx. Okay, scary, but should be manageable. I can go for an Icy Wind Airstream here, and I think be pretty safe for the most part. And that's probably what I'm going to accomplish here. I don't know if their Calyx is going to protect. I could see Calyx protecting, which would make a ton of sense here, because they voice the Icy Wind or Foul Play. They could be worried about Foul Play as well, and I could like make them drop their Calyx immediately. Let's just go for an Airstream though into Calyx and the Icy Wind. I think it is the best option that I do have here. I guess I could commit. I could go for Fake Tears Max Lightning. I don't know if I really want to commit that when the Calyx I think is probably free to go for Astral Barrage as well. So yeah, I think I'd rather just go for the Icy Wind. I think it's very safe. I get a speed boost guaranteed with my Zapdos. Then afterward, I could follow up with like boosting up my Kyogre or my Zacian, which is probably going to be my Zacian because Zacian just seems really good afterward. I guess this can be tough because I don't think Icy Wind into Airstream KOs the Calyx, which is such one tricky part about this lead, right? And I guess if they go for Eerie Impulse, I mean, I think if they led this based on them Dynamaxing the Zapdos, that's what I imagined that their game plan was, to max the Zapdos here. If they go for the Eerie Impulse, I can cover that with Fake Tears. I don't know who they would max on the back. Rillaboom? That's okay, I think, for me. It should be a Max Zapdos. Oh, it's not Max Zapdos. They go for Protect. Okay. Which I'm okay with, because again, Icy Wind. I break their... Okay, yeah, this is okay, I think. Because again, Icy Wind... Oh, missing the Zapdos is a bit unfortunate, because that's just a little bit of chip into the Zapdos that I would really appreciate, especially if it decides to max in the upcoming turns. This should probably be Eerie Impulse. Okay. So that's a little unfortunate. Gonna be Heat Wave. Wait, they just stayed in a Heat Wave? I thought this was an Eerie Impulse play. That works out huge for me. Okay. Don't know exactly about that one. Now they're in range of Foul Play. I think that's pretty bad for them. I think I always go for Fake Tears Max Lightning here. Yeah, I think I always Fake Tears Max Lightning here, KO the Zapdos, because I already got the speed boost that I need, and they didn't get a speed boost either. I'm faster than their Calyrex with both Pokemon. I trust them with Foul Play. They are going to swap out here. Incineroar? Yeah, okay. So this is perfect because I am able to get a Fake Tears into Max Lightning unless they Max Guard with the Zapdos. And yeah, again, I didn't really need the KO on Calyrex right there because like the worst it did was either Astral Barrage or Max. And if they go for Astral Barrage, that's fine. It doesn't knock out either one of my Pokemon, even if they crit. And then if they max the Calyrex, they have to crit the Zapdos, I think, to pick up the knockout, or it'd have to be like Hyper Beam, which I imagine this is going to be your standard Focus Sash Wisp on it. So we do see the Zapdos max here. I don't. This might be where the Icy Wind miss matters because Max Lightning would have probably KO'd here. I wonder if they just want to break the Sash on Persian, and that's why they just went for the Heat Wave, just to get a little bit of chip on both Pokemon. But yeah, that's where the Icy Wind miss a little bit matters. Okay. So I'm able to get a Max Lightning off. Not too bad, I suppose. We're going to see probably an Airstream into Persian. Yeah, Airstream comes out. This should be into Persian. Yep, okay. So again, a little bit unfortunate, however, still very doable. And yeah, I mean, it would have been nice getting rid of the Zapdos right there. However, still, I guess a manageable game. Max Lightning doesn't KO my Zapdos at this range. This should always be like a fake out in a Persian or an Airstream potentially. I think I always just go hard into Zacian here because I want the Airstream boost onto the Zacian slot. I think I always go for Airstream into their Zapdos. Even if it's a speed tie, I think it's worth it because I don't think Incineroar is going for Flare Blitz into Persian. I think it's always fake out here. Probably fake out because of the fact I could just KO the Zapdos with Foul Play. I imagine this is always fake out, or maybe they parting shot my Zapdos. I could see that too. But I think it has to be one of those two. I don't see them going for anything else. They max guard here with the Zapdos, okay? And fake out. All right. So they still at my max. That's fair. I also don't get the Airstream boost, which is unfortunate for my... I guess that's a little bit unfortunate for my Zacian. However, very manageable still. Sacred Sword should KO the Incineroar, I think, after Heat Wave. Of course, I have to hit Heat Wave too. I could quick attack the Zapdos, but I'm left with very inaccurate moves as well here. So I guess I could just protect my Zacian here. The thing is, I don't really get much out of it. I kind of want to get a KO here, unfortunately, but I just can't. I mean, I can quick attack for the KO, but Zapdos... The Airstream, I just don't know if I KO the Calyrex at the range it's at. I can go for the quick attack if I want to be safe. I guess quick attack's safe because unless I get staticked here, it's a little bit annoying. I guess I'll just go for a Raw Thunder into the Incineroar because Incineroar shouldn't be able to pick up a knockout here. I want a quick attack to KO their Zapdos. Do we get static? No static, it looks like. I'm able to pick up the KO onto their Zapdos there at least. I was just worried because it was a speed tie potentially, and I think a speed tie would be bad. Thunder, it misses the Incineroar. I don't think it's too bad there. They go for the Flare Blitz here into the Zacian, okay? So Zacian does take a lot. I think this gets the bird. That's very unfortunate there. Okay. That's ugly. I think I might just have to rely on, do I win the game, I think, with my... I mean, what's going to be important here is, do I pick up the win with my Kyogre in the back? Because Kyogre is pretty safe to win. It just depends on how much damage I take from, like, whatever's coming in afterward. Their Zacian comes in. Okay. So, I don't want to give them the boost. I could see them Astral Barraging here. I think the play is always just to switch out into Kyogre and protect. This could be a very ugly end game because I think Calyrex survives the Thunder or Hurricane. I think I was Thunder in this upcoming position afterward. So I'm gonna go into Kyogre. That's Assault Vest. So I should take the Astral Barrage very comfortably with the bulky Kyogre. I'm hoping that this isn't like a parting shot in the Kyogre slot. We're actually going to see a swap from Incineroar into Zacian. Okay, trying to capitalize on momentum right here. And I guess I could have thrown off a Thunder into the Calyrex. The Zacian coming in right here with the Play Rough threat is pretty concerning. Protect the Zapdos here. It's going to be Protect from Calyrex. Okay, so they didn't get Astral Barrage damage. It's actually huge. I don't think Thunder knocks out the Calyrex though, so I think I have to fire off an Origin Pulse here. I think I Thunder the Zacian slots for a Para chance, because if I get the Para, that's huge onto the Zacian. Yeah, I think I go for that because I don't think I knock out the Calyrex here. So I'm going to go for Thunder into their Zacian. for a chance of para, or otherwise I just gotta hope I live a double up right here. Thunder does a good amount of damage. Does get the para. Okay, a little bit of justice right there. 30% para compared to the 10% Flare Blitz burn earlier. Astral Barrage is going to come out, and the Icy Wind missed from earlier, which was 5%. Astral Barrage is going to come out. We got to hit an Origin Pulse here, specifically in a Calyx. I think if we miss, otherwise it should be okay. Yeah, it'd be okay. I just got to hit the Origin Pulse in the Zacian, and then I got to hit one in the Calyx the second time around. Yeah, so we are able to land an Origin Pulse, able to get both of them. Huge, and then we win the game. Oh, Calyx survives. That's fine though. Terrain disappears. Yeah, that's okay. I don't think they knock me out with Psy Shock at this range. I go hard into Persian here. I click Thunder into their Calyx slot here. Yeah, I click Thunder in the Calyx slot because I don't want to miss Origin Pulse now. I thought I would have been able to knock out the Calyx, but I guess Calyx is just strong, and this isn't Mystic Water Kyogre either. Gotta hit. Yeah, we go for Thunder because we don't have to hit the Origin Pulse now, but we might have to hit it the next turn. We go for Fake Out into Incineroar, and we go for Thunder here. If they protect with Calyx, then I just have to hit an Origin Pulse, but it looks like that's not going to be the case. Okay, there should be Psy Shock coming out. No, they go for Astral Barrage. Okay, that should be a win. Okay. Whew. That was potentially really scary because, yeah, I mean, I think again, if I hit the Icy Wind, I just had so much momentum, I think, in the upcoming turns that I would have probably just been able to sweep, I think, at that point with the Persian plus the Zapdos lead. But I guess it still worked out, thankfully. The Thunder Para, I think, was the huge part because the Calyx ended up surviving the Origin Pulse, which was not in my range of expectation right there. And yeah, a little bit of luck here and there, but still able to, I think, come out on top right here. Now, Sacred Sword, 2 Sacred Swords should knock out the Incineroar, and Sacred Sword and a Water Spout should always knock out Incineroar, so I can just go for that. I'm pretty sure it does, and even if it doesn't, I'm pretty sure Sacred Sword and Water Spout. This has to be like Protect Incineroar. There just has to go a lot of things wrong here. I think Water Spout should pick up the knockout after a Water Spout, even with like a berry. So I should be safe here. I'm pretty sure. Battle going to be forfeit. And I do pick up the win there. So turn 1, Protect was in my range of expectation. I was not expecting the Heat Wave when I saw it though. And the Icy Wind miss, of course, I was going to be able to pick up the knockout into their Zapdos because we saw that it just a little bit of a sliver of HP. So Icy Wind in the normal form would definitely been able to KO it with the Fake Tears and the Max Lightning combination. And I think that would have just snowballed at that point. I don't think they had anything that like outsped and could survive. Like I had Foul Play always threatening the Calyx. I had Max Flare always threatening, and I had a Fake Tears Max Lightning option I could have done to Incineroar, so that could have picked up the knockout too. So I just had all these different options, and I don't think they would have been really able to survive. However, I did end up getting a little bit lucky later on with the Thunder Para. 30% chance, but I think it was my best odds there. Getting that Para in the Zacian before it could move, because that was absolutely big for my Kyogre being able to outspeed the Zacian before it gets an attack off like Play Rough or Sacred Sword. And then that just allowed Kyogre, I think, to be able to handle the Calyx efficiently for the end game. And that is the show. I think Persian did really well on this team, especially with the Zapdos pairing. I think having the Airstream next to Persian is really big because you have that really good Fake Tears option with the Airstream for immediate KOs. And then you can Icy Wind slow down your opponent's entire team. They can't really stop it in most cases, so I think it's really strong. Foul Play does a ton of damage to like the Solgaleos, which we really like to see there, as it can be a little bit of a struggle for like Kyogre and Zacian to really damage the Solgaleo, especially while it's maxing, boosting up its defenses. However, yeah, it really did perform well. And if you do want to check out the details of the team and the creator, I'll link them in the description down below. And hopefully you enjoyed the video as well. Please leave a like down below, leave a comment down below, and try out the rental code if you haven't already, because it's a really fun team. You can also check out the other videos that I do on Series 12 because I use a lot of cool teams. I use a lot of cool Pokemon, so why not check it out? But otherwise, thank you all for tuning in. Have a great day, people. And until we bow again, I'll catch y'all later.